Stop dreaming and start planning. The answer to how much land you need to start a profitable small farm might be much smaller than you think. In fact, you could start making money from less than 1 acre. And I'm going to show you exactly how. Here's the truth that most people don't want to tell you. The average American backyard is about 1/4 of an acre. And guess what? That's enough space to grow over 3,000 pounds of vegetables every single year. I'll say that again, 3,000 pounds of food from a space smaller than most people's front lawns. But let's be real, starting a farm isn't just about growing food. It's about making money. That's exactly why this channel exists. So let's break down exactly how much land you need for different farming goals. There's a huge misconception that more land equals more money. And that is simply not true for small farmers. What matters isn't the size of your farm. It's how you use every single square foot. Let me give you an example. Imagine farm A has 5 acres, but they only use 20% of it productively. That means only 1 acre is actually producing. Now imagine farm B has 1 acre, but they use 90% of it productively. Farm B makes more money every single time. Why? Because they maximize every inch of their land. The key is efficiency. It's better to intensively farm 1 acre than to poorly manage 5 acres. This is the foundation of profitable small-scale farming. Start small, master your space, and then expand when you're ready. That's how successful farmers do it. So forget what you've heard about needing 100 acres. The modern small farm is about smart farming, not big farming. Now let's break this down into 3 realistic categories. And as we go through each one, I want you to think about your own goals. Where do you see yourself? The first category is the micro farm. We're talking about spaces under 1/4 acre. This is your suburban backyard, an urban lot, or a small community garden plot. With a micro farm, you need to focus on high-value, fast-growing crops. Think microgreens, mushrooms, specialty herbs, and baby salad greens. These crops can sell for $20 to $40 per pound at farmers markets or to local restaurants. Let's do some quick math. Just 25 square feet of microgreens, harvested 4 times a month, at $25 a pound. That's potentially $2,500 in monthly revenue, from a space the size of a small bedroom. And the startup cost for a micro farm? Very minimal. You don't need expensive equipment or machinery, just good soil, quality seeds, and a willingness to work hard. So if you're just starting out and you have limited space, a micro farm is your gateway. It's low risk, high reward, and you can run it while keeping your day job. It's the perfect way to test the waters before diving in deeper. The second category is the small farm. This is between 1/4 acre and about 2 acres. This is where things start getting really interesting. With this amount of land, you have real options. You can run a diversified market garden. You can start a CSA, which stands for Community Supported Agriculture. That's where customers pay you upfront for a weekly box of fresh produce. Or you can add small-scale livestock, like chickens for eggs or meat, or rabbits. According to the US Department of Agriculture, a well-managed 1-acre market garden can generate anywhere from $15,000 to $40,000 in annual revenue. And that's with just one person working it part-time. But here's the key. You have to plan it right. You can't just plant whatever you want and hope for the best. You need a system. You need a crop rotation plan. And most importantly, you need a plan to sell everything you grow before you even put a seed in the ground. This category is where most people realize that farming can be a serious business. It's where you start building real income and real momentum. And finally, the full-time farm. This is 3 acres and above. And here's the reality at this scale. This is your career. This is what you do full-time. The advantage at this scale is diversification. You can have a mix of field crops, livestock, a greenhouse, and even value-added products like jams, pickles, or dried herbs. Revenue potential here is significantly higher. A well-run 3 to 5 acre diversified farm can generate $30,000 to $70,000 or more annually. But the costs are also higher. You'll need equipment, land payments, and potentially hired labor. This is where farming becomes a full-time business. It's not just about growing anymore. It's about managing, marketing, and scaling, and that's a topic we'll dive deep into in future videos. So the question becomes, do you want to farm part-time while keeping your current job? Or are you ready to go all in? Be honest with yourself. There is no wrong answer, but knowing your goal is the first step to achieving it. Now let's make this real. I want to share a real-world example from a small farm just like what we're talking about. A small farm in the United States was recently featured in a farming case study. This farmer runs a 1-acre market garden, growing everything from tomatoes and peppers to leafy greens and root vegetables. In their first year of full production, they did nearly $18,000 in sales. By year 3, that number had grown to over $35,000. And this was all from 1 acre. No massive machinery, no huge loans, just smart planning and hard work. And here's the crazy part. They were only using about 80% of their land. They still had room to expand. So even the small farm category has room to grow and improve. The lesson is simple. You don't need to start big. You need to start smart. Master your space, build your customer base, and then expand from there. Here's the most important thing to remember. Farming is not just a lifestyle. It's a business, and your land is your most valuable asset. You have to treat it like one. So let's be clear. You don't need 100 acres to start a profitable farm. What you need is a plan. You need to know what you're growing, why you're growing it, who you're selling it to, and what it costs you to produce. Start small, master your space, build a local customer base, and then expand from there. Every successful farmer I've ever seen started small, because that's the only way to learn without making expensive mistakes. So here's your next step. Look at the space you have available. Is it a tiny backyard, a quarter acre, a full acre? Be honest about what you're working with, and then start making the most of it. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This is Small Farm Income, and I'm here to help you build a profitable farm no matter how much land you have. In our next video, we're breaking down the 5 essential tools every small farmer needs. And trust me, you don't need to spend a fortune. Thanks for watching. Now go make that small farm work for you.